A 19-year-old scoring 2 goals and assisting in a Champions League final. A 17-year-old carrying Barcelona to win a domestic treble. These are just some of the new generational talents we are witnessing right now. Now, the topic of this video is particularly focused on Doue. But as I said in previous videos, you will not dribble like anybody. This video will not actually teach you how to dribble exactly like Doue. There is no way that you can do it, because each person has a unique style. Luckily, because it would be boring seeing everybody dribbling and playing exactly the same. So this video will be 100% transparent and objective. We will go through how these players learn to play and dribble like this, so you can actually apply it and get your own unique style of play. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. When you watch Doue dribble, what do you see? Most people see the flashy moves, the way he embarrasses defenders, but what they miss is the foundation. They miss the years of building that relationship with the ball that makes everything look effortless. That's what we're about to uncover. This is how to play like Doue. The first thing you need to understand when it comes to replicating a player is not actually doing what they say or do now. It's actually reverse engineering their life and starting from the root. Most young players make this huge mistake. They see Doue dominating in League 1, scoring in the Champions League, and they think, I need to train like PSG trains. I need to do what he's doing now. But that's completely backwards. When Doue was 5 years old, Rennes broke their own policy to sign him. They had never made that exception before. But even before that, what was he doing? He wasn't in some academy doing cone drills. He was just playing with kids older than him, playing in the streets of France, playing wherever he could find a ball and some space. And this is where it gets interesting, because if you go back and look at every single great dribbler in history, you'll find the same pattern. Yamal grew up playing street football in the neighborhoods of Barcelona. Neymar spent his childhood in the streets of São Paulo. Ronaldinho learned his skills in the futsal courts of Porto Alegre. Zidane himself said, "Everything I have achieved in football is due to playing football in the streets with my friends." Even Messi, before joining La Masia, spent years playing with older kids in Rosario. Maradona learned to dribble in the dirt fields of Villa Fiorito. Cristiano played barefoot on the streets. This is not a coincidence, this is the blueprint. But why? Why does street football create better dribblers than academies? Because on the streets, there are no rules. No coaches shouting instructions every 5 seconds, no structured drills, no perfect conditions. It's chaos. Pure, beautiful chaos. And chaos forces you to adapt. It forces you to think fast. It forces you to rely on your instincts instead of memorized patterns. When you're playing against kids who are 3 years older and twice your size, you can't rely on strength. You can't rely on speed. You have to be smart. You have to be creative. You have to find ways to keep the ball that nobody taught you. And that's how you build your unique flow state. That's where your instincts get better. That's where you develop that sixth sense that makes great dribblers look like they're playing a different game. Street football teaches you to see the game differently, to feel the rhythm, to understand spaces that don't exist in textbooks. Most importantly, it teaches you to play without fear. Because when you're playing for fun, when there's no pressure, when nobody's judging your every move, you're free to experiment, free to fail, free to discover moves that feel natural to your body. That's the foundation every great dribbler has. Not perfect technique from day one, not some secret training method, just thousands of hours of unstructured, pressure-free play. Now, most of you probably think that to become a great dribbler, you need to master a lot of skills. You watch YouTube tutorials, you learn 50 different moves, you practice step-overs and elasticos and rainbow flicks. But here's the thing, it is perfectly fine that you learn all those skills. But remember, when you actually watch a real 90-minute game, you'll see players winning duels with the same skill over and over again. And even when they do a different skill, it's just a little variation of their main move. Look at Messi. He just needed a body feint and la croqueta, and he would score. Ronaldo just needed his step overs. Neymar just needed explosive cuts with feints. Doue relies on perfect timing with simple movements. All the skills they learned somehow fall back to 3 to 5 most basic skills. Because when you're under pressure, when you have half a second to decide, your brain doesn't have time to choose from 50 different options. Your brain goes to what it knows best, what it's practiced the most, what feels most natural. That's why the number one skill everyone should focus on is the body feint, because this one is like the foundation of every other skill. If you do a step over, you also need the body feint. If you do la croqueta, you also need to start with a sort of body feint. The body feint is the most powerful skill because it connects all the parts of your body into selling a lie, in making the defender believe you're going one way while you're planning to go the other with all of your commitment. We master it with what I call the 4-step minimalist process. First of all, before even starting the skill, watch it, understand it, look for a compilation of a pro footballer doing it, and then start with step 1. Start static, stand with the ball, and practice the movement without any pressure. Feel how your shoulder drops, how your weight shifts, how your hips rotate. Get the mechanics right first. Step 2, add movement. Now do the same movement while jogging slowly, then faster, then at match speed, but always in control. Step 3, shadow dribbling. Imagine defenders in front of you. Feel the pressure, react to imaginary situations. Let your instincts take over. The more you put intent, the better. Step 4, pick up games and 1 versus 1s until mastery. This is the final test. Real pressure, real defenders, real consequences. Most players stop at step 2. That's why they can do the move perfectly in training, but fall apart in games. Because they never trained their instincts. They never learned to trust their body under pressure. But when you follow all 4 steps, something beautiful happens. The move becomes automatic. You don't think about it, you just do it. And that's when you know you've truly mastered it. Now, listen to these beautiful words. Johan Cruyff once said, "Playing football is very simple, but playing simple football is the hardest thing there is." At first, this sounds like a contradiction. How can something be simple and hard at the same time? But when you really understand what he meant, it changes everything about how you see the game. What Cruyff was saying is this: anyone can make football complicated. Anyone can do 50 different skills, try crazy passes, attempt impossible shots. That's the easy way out. That's what players do when they don't really understand the game. But to play simple football, to do exactly what the situation requires, nothing more, nothing less, to make the right decision every single time, that's incredibly difficult because it requires perfect understanding of the game. Think about Doue for a moment. When you watch him play, he doesn't look like he's trying to impress anyone. He doesn't do unnecessary tricks, he doesn't overcomplicate things, and even if he does, it looks simple to the eyes. Somehow, he always makes the right move at the right time. He is having fun. That's simple football, and it's devastatingly effective. The problem is most players confuse simple with boring. They think that to stand out, they need to do something flashy, something that will end up on social media, something that will make people say, wow. But the truth is, the most impressive players are the ones who make everything look easy. Messi doesn't dribble you with 20 different skills. He dribbles you with perfect timing and decision making. Neymar doesn't need to show off. His movements flow so naturally that defenders can't read them. He is not forcing the skills, he just got them on instincts. And that's exactly why everybody loves Doue, Neymar, and Yamal. Because they do things that let you believe it's simple. They make you think, I could do that. But when you try, you realize how incredibly difficult it is to be that simple. The best footballers have this effect. They make the complex look simple. Think about Modric, Kroos, Busquets. They make the impossible look effortless. They make you forget that what they're doing requires years of practice and perfect understanding. That's minimalist football. It's not doing less. It's choosing to do exactly what's needed because you understand what's really important. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you simplify your game, the more unpredictable you become. Because when your movements are natural and effortless, defenders can't read your intentions. They can't prepare for what feels spontaneous. Simple football is honest football. It's playing the game the way it was meant to be played. That's what Doue has mastered at just 19 years old. And that's what you can master too if you're willing to embrace simplicity over complexity. But here's the thing nobody talks about. You can master every skill in this video. You can understand the philosophy of simple football. You can train your instincts for hours every day. But if you don't have confidence, none of it matters. Confidence is believing at the deepest level that you belong to that field, that you deserve to have the ball, that you can handle whatever situation comes your way. And most players get confidence completely wrong. They think confidence comes from external validation, from scoring goals, from praise, from winning games. But that's fragile confidence. That's confidence that disappears the moment things go wrong. Real confidence comes from within. It comes from knowing beyond any doubt that you've prepared properly, that you've put in the work, that you're ready for anything. Joe Dispenza talks about something powerful: believing, behaving, becoming. It's 3 simple steps that can completely rewire how you see yourself as a player. First, you believe it's possible. You have to genuinely believe that you can reach the level you're aiming for. Not just hope, believe with every fiber of your being. Second, you behave as if it's a reality. Here, most people struggle. They believe something is possible, but they keep acting like the old version of themselves. If you want to play like an elite dribbler, you have to start carrying yourself like an elite dribbler. Today, not when you make it. Because if you don't change your identity before becoming a thing, it's like a donkey repeating at the mirror, "I am a lion," hoping he will be a lion one day. Third, you become it. When you consistently believe and behave differently, your brain literally rewires itself. Your body chemistry changes. You become the person you've been practicing to be. But here's the deeper truth about confidence. It's built through evidence. Every time you do something that scares you and survive, you get stronger. Every time you face a challenge and push through it, you prove to yourself that you're capable. That's why playing pickup games is so important. Not just for skill development, but for confidence. Feeling the fear and playing anyway is the best way to explain confidence in football. Every moment, you get to choose between the voice that says you're not good enough and the voice that says you belong here. Every moment, you get to choose between playing it safe and taking the risk that could change everything. Now, I've mentioned this concept before, but I want to say it again because some of you are still misunderstanding what I mean when I talk about creating an alter ego. This is not some blue lock anime thing. It's a psychological weapon. And if you truly want to dribble with the confidence and boldness of someone like Doue, you need this. Your current self, the one you bring into training and games, is probably too soft for high pressure. I'm not saying you're weak. I'm saying the ego you carry, the identity you associate with, is scared. It cares too much about how others see you. It holds on to mistakes. It gets crushed after bad performances. It wants to be perfect. It wants to be safe. Let me give you a few real examples so this makes sense. Cristiano Ronaldo, on the pitch, he's cold, ice in his veins. He celebrates goals like a gladiator, confident, unshaken, but outside the pitch, he's just a father, a businessman. That version of him turns off the moment the final whistle blows. The Cristiano that scores goals is not the same Cristiano who eats dinner with his kids. That's the power of detachment. Same thing with Ibrahimovic. Why do you think he refers to himself as Zlatan in third person? Because Zlatan is a persona, a warrior, a character. When he speaks, he sounds like a villain in a movie, intimidating, full of belief. But that's not by accident. That's crafted. Off the pitch, he's calm. He has a family. He doesn't go around headbutting people at the grocery store. He built Zlatan to survive football. Even outside football, David Goggins created Goggins as a separate beast who could push past limits his normal self couldn't handle. Why does this work? Because your regular ego, your default identity, is selfish. It wants comfort It's emotional, it holds grudges, it's insecure, and it wants to protect itself at all costs. So here's what we do instead. We build a new character, a football version of you that only comes alive when you play football. Now let's build it step by step. Step 1, choose your domain. Where is this alter ego going to show up? Most of you, it's on the pitch. So this version of you only exists in games, in training, when you're holding a ball. The moment you leave the pitch, he turns off. Because that separation helps you mentally. You don't carry your bad games into dinner with your family. You don't let criticism from your coach affect your sleep. You leave that to the alter ego. Step 2, choose the qualities you want. Ask yourself, what do I lack right now in my game? Am I too scared to dribble? Do I hesitate under pressure? Do I avoid the ball? Now flip it. Your alter ego should be the exact opposite. He's confident. He loves pressure. He wants the ball in tight spaces. He never hides. Write down those traits, lock them in. Step 3, visualize this version of you. What does he look like? How does he walk? How does he move after a mistake? Give him a vibe. He doesn't have to be cocky. He can be calm like Zidane, playful like Ronaldinho, or cold like Doue. You choose, but make it clear, make it real. Step 4, name it. Yeah, name it. Kobe had the Black Mamba. Muhammad Ali had the greatest. You can name yours anything that represents the version of you that takes over. Something personal, something with meaning. Step 5, create an activation ritual. This is a move or behavior that tells your mind, he's here now. It can be tying your boots a certain way, breathing in a specific rhythm, tapping your chest, cracking your knuckles, saying a phrase in your head. Ronaldo had his power stance. You need one too. Look, you don't need to have split personalities or act fake. This is a tool. You are consciously creating a version of yourself to protect your performance and protect your peace. When the game is over, you take off the mask. You come back to your real self, calm, relaxed, happy. If you made it all the way here, just know this. You're already doing more than 99% of players. Most clicked off, but you're still here, and that tells me something. You're not here to be average. You're here to change your game, your mindset, your future. So don't let this video just be another one you watched and forgot. And most importantly, hit the protocol and take action.